What's happening, MJ traders and investors? It's Rod with Pow Group. Welcome back on the Pursuit of Wealth, your home for MJ stocks, crypto assets, news, and interviews. Also home to the best MJ community. Today is Saturday, December 23rd. Hope you're doing awesome and hope you're having a great holiday long weekend. As a reminder, the stock market is closed in the US on Monday and closed in Canada on Monday and Tuesday. In this video, we're going to be discussing MSOS ETF. I want to give an update with regards to the trade that I mentioned. Hourly oversold, it played out like a boss. We'll take a look at the chart. I'll give my update and thoughts and opinions on the technicals and what to expect in terms of price action in the days, weeks, months ahead. Before we get to it though, make sure to smash the like. It helps support me in the channel. It doesn't cost you anything. If you're new, you can subscribe, tick the bell, all that good stuff. You'll be notified on any future videos or when I go live. Also, this is not financial advice. This is for entertainment and informational purposes only. You should never ever buy anything solely based on anything that I say or anything that I write. And full disclosure, I do own MSOS. Also, you can give us a follow over on X, which is previously Twitter. The handle for that is @GroupPow. Going to be using that as my platform of choice going forward. And we recently signed up for Rumble and Odyssey as well, just in case we ever get silenced here on YouTube. So this was the video that I posted on December 12th. Wow, time flies. I mentioned in that video, there was a nice trade opportunity presenting itself on MSOS. That was that day that everything got absolutely wrecked. No one knew what happened. I heard some rumblings that it was some institutional rebalancing and tax loss harvesting into the end of the year. A bunch of people online, like on socials, some influencers were saying that, tax loss harvesting is not really going to apply this year. I don't see how that makes any sense. It always does. And in my opinion, it's still playing a factor and it could still play a factor here into the end of the year. We have until December 27th because it takes stocks 3 days to settle. Therefore, we have until December 27th. But after that, I think we're going to see Q1, Q2 is where things really start to heat up. And today we had some movement in the space, and a lot of that had to do with, well, there was some speculation that had to do with a potential for the rescheduling news to get approved next week. There's buy the rumor, sell the news thing, sort of things going on behind the scene. I don't know how much I believe in that, but I've heard a few people now say that there could be some updates with regards to rescheduling. We could get some positive news next week. I'm in the camp of thinking it's more than likely going to be in Q1, Q2. I just did a video on Cureleaf as well, and Boris Jordan agrees with me. It's more than likely going to be somewhere around March, April. And I think they'll want to get it done be ahead of the election year. But today, Biden had, there was some news with regards to Biden issuing even more pardons, which, obviously definitely played to the momentum here today. But I think MJ is just kind of acting as a laggard play. And all the rest of the market has been absolutely roaring and ripping. And I think MJ is just a little bit of a laggard. I think it was mostly technical, but also the fact that, there's a lot of speculation that we could get some updates with regards to rescheduling next week. So if it doesn't happen next week, prepare for another one of these where we sell off and people are kind of pricing in the likelihood of something passing more than likely going to be in 2024, right? So I think that's what this initial drop was, and that's what led to hourly oversold conditions and the trade opportunity that I mentioned here. So right now, it is still a pretty weak bounce though. I mean, over the last couple of days from the low of yesterday to the high of Friday, so on Thursday, the low of Thursday, the high of Friday was up over 10%, but realistically still just a weak bounce. We're still below 668, which is our previous lower high, and we did confirm a daily downtrend here with a high, low, lower high, and lower low. We did see not much follow through though. We had 603 as support and we hit 599. So this was a massive bear trap here, and we did confirm a daily downtrend and a bear flag. So as you can see, we topped out right at the 0.32 fib at 668 to the penny. So if people say that technical analysis doesn't work, it's like once you realize how accurate it can be, it's not the end all be all, right? It's just odds and probabilities. But it's just funny how this topped out perfectly right at 668, which was the 0.32 fib there. And then we confirm the daily downtrend and the daily bear flag. You take your measured move from the high to the low, and then that gives you a measured move down to about 523. So if we get above 668, that's going to negate the odds that we'll see that follow through down to that level of 523. But as long as we remain below 668, the likelihood of us trending downwards and hitting that target of 523 is very, very high in my opinion. So we'll take a look at the trade opportunity that I mentioned. So the trade opportunity was hourly oversold, and you can see here we had this absolute bloodbath. We even had a descending triangle here, which I just realized here now on the hourly time frame as well. So you can see here we were trending lower highs and lower lows, And then if we take this measured move here, it was a descending triangle. We had an EMA 12 and 26 bear cross. So this is another example where, when you have multiple indicators, multiple signs saying the same thing, we had a descending triangle, right, which is very bearish, right? You have this descending sloping line of resistance, right? And then, you have your horizontal line of support, and then you break down, right? More often than not, they break down bearish, right? And then same thing with an ascending triangle. This is descending triangle, it's bearish. Ascending triangle is bullish, right? So if it looked like this, where you were trending higher lows and higher highs, my bad. You have your horizontal line of support and you're trending higher lows and higher highs, that would be bullish. But in this case, it was trending down like that. That was a terrible drawing. But you can see here trending down with this downward sloping line of resistance and then a horizontal line of support. And then we broke bearish. We had an EMA 12 and 26 bear cross on the hourly time frame as well. And we confirmed an hourly downtrend with a lower high, lower low. So those are 3, and coming off RSI overbought. So again, there's 4 right there just off the top of my head that are indicating that we could have seen more downside from there. But we went from hourly overbought to hourly oversold, and the hourly RSI was absolutely crushed. I don't even know. Yeah, it was the last time. So if we take a look at that hourly dump there, the last time we were hourly oversold was back in October, and that was on a flush of $5. And I've been saying basically if you buy MSOS below $5, you win, and that has been the case. Very, very strong support. And we don't stay down below $5 for very long. And then here I said that it was more than likely going to be a massive, massive hourly oversold bounce. And sure enough, as soon as we started the hourly oversold bounce, you could have entered there with a stop, and then you could have allowed a little bit of wiggle room as well. But essentially play off $6 psychological. That's the low that we got there was 603. If you played there off of 603, you would have seen an hourly the hourly oversold bounce of over 10% of upside. So that was a nice swing trade there. But look where we topped out. I kid you not, right at the 0.382 fib at 668, which is our daily bear flag target. You can't make this stuff up, right? So, and then we had this head and shoulders as well, which led to daily overbought after the HHS recommendation down to daily oversold. You could have entered here on the daily oversold bounce. The daily oversold bounce would have saw over 54% of upside. So again, technical analysis isn't the end all be all. It's not about predicting whether or not something will or won't happen. It's about looking at the odds and the probabilities of what could happen and what the chart is saying, right? So again, if I could come on here every time and say that the technicals are saying we're going to $100 on MSOS, I wish I could do that, but then I would be lying, right? Right now, things are not looking too great. I mean, we had that nice hourly oversold bounce, but that's all I was expecting was a potential for a daily lower high, and that's exactly what we got, right? And now it's still a potential daily bear flag and a pretty weak bounce overall, and we did form a little bit of an upper wick there, and we still have tax loss harvesting going on until the end of the year. So we'll see. I'm still in the camp of thinking we could see a little bit more pain before some massive gain, but we are very close to the end of this bear market, in my opinion. Also, the S&P 500 due for a healthy weekly higher low, so there could be some headwinds there over the next week or two into the new year, and that would obviously weigh down on MJ. So, like I said, I think this is a nice rally, but I think it's more of a dead cat bounce and just a small relief rally before we see a little bit more downside. We also closed below the 10-week moving average this week, which is a bit of a cause for concern. And we're seeing a bear across of the stochastic and the MACD flipping the other way is not really what we want to see. So I do think that we could be heading down sub $6. And like I said, that daily bear flag targeting 523. And we did manage to close over the 50 weekly, though. That's the only thing that I noticed here on the weekly time frame. 626 was the 50 weekly, and we did close over that. In terms of the daily time frame, though, we're seeing this whipsaw action. We had a golden cross, but what usually happens whenever we're trying to form a multi-year bear market bottom and a multi-year bull market potentially beginning and a longer term reversal, usually you see a big fake out and shakeout before the big breakout, right? And MSOS on the monthly time frame is still just looking for a monthly uptrend to confirm. So we're looking for the monthly higher low with our low, high, higher low. That was a monster opportunity to enter there as well. If you entered there off that monthly higher low, that's over 55% of upside, and you could have entered at 478 was key support, and then we hit 492. So very, very low risk. If you just entered there, you would have risk essentially less than 5% to make 55%. That's great risk to reward. And again, if we lost that support, it would have just been monthly downtrend continuation. So lower high and lower low. Whereas this scenario is low, high, higher low, and higher high. That constitutes an uptrend. Lower high and lower low is a downtrend. So that was a monster swing opportunity there, an entry even for an investment, right? If you're looking, again, not financial advice, but can't go wrong in my opinion. But we are bouncing here on the monthly time frame, and if we break above 988, then monthly uptrend confirmed. But again, I think we could see a little bit more weakness here, and this is generally where people get faked out. When the monthly higher low is forming, everybody thinks we're just going to go to a lower low, monthly downtrend continuation, but that's when the tide starts to turn and we form the monthly higher low followed by a higher high back into a monthly uptrend, and then it's off to the races, right? And then everybody knows what a golden cross is. So whenever, everybody and their dog knows this is one of the most basic things that people learn when they learn technical analysis. They think, oh look, we're going to the moon, we're today or tomorrow, and we did shoot up very, very strongly there. But again, usually what we see is a fake out, one more final shakeout before the big breakout. And that's not just on MSOS. The same thing has happened on Tilray. We had a golden cross back down where we got shaken down and we got beaten down. Like I said, massive shakeout, I think, before a big breakout. We also had a buy alert go off on Tilray, a Powbot algo alert go off on it. Medium to long-term bullish evidence. But like I said, this has happened on a lot of our names. Cureleaf, right? If we bring up, whoops, that was the old ticker. Cureleaf is now on the Toronto Stock Exchange. So same thing here, golden cross into a death cross, and that one final shakeout in my opinion. But like I said, I think I'm in the camp of thinking that Q1, Q2 is when we're going to really start to kick it into high gear, no pun intended, and I think we could confirm monthly uptrends at some point into the spring. So that's what I'm going to be looking out for. Like I said, that hourly oversold trade was a doozy, coming off, like I said, hourly oversold conditions after that massive pullback. And when USMJ just got absolutely wrecked, and like I said, playing off $6 psychological, we even hit 609. So you could have set, your stop at 554 or 594 or 589, right? Whatever you're comfortable with. And when you allow that wiggle room, that's just in case they go stop loss hunting. And with more experience, you get, you become more familiar with how much wiggle room to leave. But that was a monster swing opportunity. Even if you just set it below $6, right, $5.99, you would have won. And then, like I said, over 10% of upside there on that hourly oversold bounce. So let me know if you took that trade. But going to it there, it's Rod with Pow Group. Thanks again for joining us on the Pursuit of Wealth. I hope you have a fantastic long holiday weekend with your family and friends. Wish you nothing but the best. Love each and every one of you. And we'll see you again on the next video.